It's about 11 o'clock. Um, November 20th-ish, maybe. No, it's not this one. What day is it? Today the 22nd. So, y'all see the title, right? So, I have a question. Is there a such thing as being too overprotective of your kid? And I want y'all to answer the question. Is it a such thing as being too overprotective of a child? And I'm gonna try to be nice with my responses, because I know everybody be like, oh, she always take things defensive. I'm not defensive. That's just the way that how I respond. It seems nasty, but it's genuine, right? So my son father tells me all the time that I'm too overprotective of Kason. But just remember, I come from a generation or a big family where you was not protected. You wasn't. And I had a real bad, messed up, childhood. Let me say that. My childhood wasn't really bad, you know? But for the things that did come in or whatever, that I wish never happened, right? I can't take back what happened to me. But I can try to protect my son from the same thing from happening to him, you know? Having to question if people are genuine towards you or if people are not genuine to you, right? So many times my son felt like, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do that. I'm like, I don't know no other way. Like, I want to say, when I was a little kid, all right, some of your chores after. Um, I ain't seen my horoscope in a long time, but you know how. Well, y'all don't know how, but I've always wanted a family that you seen on the TVs, right? And my family is nothing like what you see on TV. And I don't know whose fault it is. Is it my parents' fault? Is it my grandparents' fault? Is it my great grandparents' fault? I don't know where I don't know where the ball was dropped, you know? So when I had nieces and nephews, I made it my point to be known. I made it a point to be a part of their life. But like now, like I don't get that with Kason. And I told you I'm in therapy, right? My therapist told me the other day, she was like, maybe it's the fact that I expect so much from family and you don't get it in return. And when you don't get things in return, right, you shut down. So, how I used to get my nieces and nephews all the time because I remember when I was little, my aunts used to have us. Let me see. My aunt who lived on Argyle had us. My aunt who lived with my grandmother, or my grandmother lived with my aunt, she had us. Or I don't know if it was because my grandmother had us. Um, My aunt who lived down the project, she had everybody kids. Okay? Um, who else? My uncle, my mother brother. My mother brother made it his point to get the family together, right? Pile all of us up in this big ass red van, right? Excuse me. And we did stuff together. But like now that we older and things happen and family, if you see this and you know I'm saying something and you all feel like it's not what happened. You know how like people make, I told my cousin yesterday, I said people make an assumption. And when you make an assumption, it's always wrong. So what I think happened could be an assumption that I made or just an opinion that I came up with that is not what actually happened. So people is like, well, when did the family start being so distant? And I'm going to say it was really distant when my grandmother died, or when our grandmother died. My mother's mother. When my mother's mother died, my mother's mother died in January the 13th, 2004. And right before my grandmother died, my oldest nephew. So that was a whole mess because when my nephew was born, his mother, you know, they in the projects. And, you know, I'm not knocking nobody. I was down there too. And a house got raided, and a lot of my little cousins was put into CPS. Most everybody got their kids back. All right? Mostly everybody got their kids back, but not my nephew. The mother couldn't get him back. I don't know what happened that she couldn't get him back. And her mother couldn't get him. So only person that could get him was my mother. Right? And that was an issue because a lot of people was like, my mother shouldn't have got him, da-da-da-da, whatever. Right? And I believe that's when the family fell apart because family members I felt like people was picking sides and they wasn't picking the right side, which wasn't my mother's side, what wasn't my nephew's mother's side, which was my nephew's side. Which household or which environment was the better one, right? So anyway, that's not a discussion that I want to really talk about because I don't want nobody to think I'm putting their business out there, because I'm not. I'm not saying your name because I'm not. But my grandmother died, and you know, like, she was the matriarch of the family, but she ain't really know how to love nobody, right? Like, I had a real bad experience with my grandmother. I stopped eating pork when I was like 16 years old, and it was a cookout, right? And I was mad. I'm still mad to this day, right? About it. But there's nothing I really knew about it. So, having a cookout in my own house, who lived down the project, because everybody used to always be in my own house. So, what I'm saying? Oh, my cousins had stopped eating pork too, so it was these hot dogs that was done, and I wanted a hot dog, right? My grandma was gonna tell me, no, these not for you. These for blank kid. And I'm looking like, well, they're not here, and there's more hot dogs on the stove, so why won't you feed me first, and then get more hot dogs off the stove? She's like, no. I was so mad. I was so heartbroken. Like, I'm getting teary-eyed now. I'm crying, and my mother didn't even take up for me. She's like, just wait for the next batch, right? And I'm looking like, why is these kids more important than me? And they're not even here, right? When it was more food on the stove. I mean, not on the stove, but on the grill. But I always jump over. I swear, y'all, I'm bad with it. But I believe when my grandmother died and when my nephew was placed in the custody of my mother, and then, you know, when they kept going back and forth to court, you know, it was just like, she need to give the baby back because everybody else ended up with their kids. But my nephew mom was the only one who didn't, because they wanted her to do certain things in which she wasn't doing the certain things to get him back. So this was the time when family functions stopped happening. You heard stories, this and that. And I'm like, I don't want nothing to do with it. I mean, I'm going to just say to myself, because that's just what I do. That's what I've always done. And, you know, everybody just like, the family just can't get together. It can get together as long as people get their stuff together. I would love to be back like how we used to be. Y'all hear me? We used to be so close, so close, so close, so close. But when you get up in age and when, you know, you start smelling your butt, that's when families break apart. And just because you raised in the same household or in the same family, or let me say you came from the same family, and, you know, you branching out and you having your own family, when you see the flaws in your family that were around when you was a kid, you try to make better decisions, right? Not to do the same things that cause you issues. But not everybody do that. Some people be so comfortable at it. I don't know. I just hope that somehow we can come together. Because it's crazy. I know my cousins, and like, I know none of their kids. I know none of their names. And I told you I'm real bad with names, so like, I'll be just like, hey. I'll never say a name. Not because I don't know you. Like, I know, not because I don't know of you, but I just don't remember what your name is. I mean, I know you my cousin. I might not even know who you might be. Because that's just part of me. Look, I just started eating crabs and none of another one. And it's crazy because here it is. I'm looking like it'd be real nice to have this, you know, have a relationship back with my cousins. And I don't even know if I want a relationship with my father. I know I want to have the conversation with him, but my therapist is like, so what is your end goal? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, I know I want Casey to have some type of relationship with him, but I don't know what my relationship with him would look like. Maybe that's the next video I need to be doing. I'm thinking about it. What is the relationship that I want with my father? Because I haven't had one in almost 18 years. Let me not say 18. My niece is 13, so like 13 years. But, guys, I'm about to get off of here. I'm going to come in here every now and then, jump on, make a little video, get off, and do what I got to do. I need to go to the market and go get some food so I can make for Thanksgiving. And just Lord knickknacks that I need here for my house, just because of the fact I do have a son and he got likes and dislikes, right? But if y'all like this video and y'all want to know more, most definitely comment down below. Ask me a question. Even if it's not something that, you know, I'm talking about in any of these videos. Just ask a question. And maybe if you have like a real nice question, I can make a video about what it is that you asking me. But I'm out, and y'all know I always like to clean up my mess. I don't know why I do this. This drive me crazy. But